Hello, Billy. My name is Vince Alardi with eSearch Local. We are the company that had sent you the email back about a week and a half ago, of which that you had responded to it by clicking the link to get your local ranking report that you see here on the screen right now. And I first want to begin by apologizing for the timeliness of getting back to you. We had a tremendous response to this offering. And as you probably recall in that email, we talked about waiving the setup fee for those businesses who got started by the end of the year. Well, here it is Wednesday, January 2nd, and I'm just now getting you this information, and I want to apologize for that. Again, as I said, we had a tremendous response to this offer, and we're just now getting through the final folks such as yourself who had responded. So I do apologize for that. Now, on a positive note, I certainly don't want to get the cart before the horse, but one of the things that we talked about in that email is to waive the initial setup fee for all new businesses that get started by the end of the year. I do want to let you know that we have extended that offer through the close of business on Friday, January 4th. So again, no need to rush into it. The most important thing that I'd like to accomplish in this short video is to provide that high-level analysis of your online exposure, point out some of the things that you're doing well, and share some ideas of things that you can do to enhance your online positioning. So with all that being said, let's get started. So as you can see here, this is a report that you had probably already seen, which analyzes your current online presence. And based on the main phone number that I gather you have been using, the 912-441-1585, Google did in fact find you. And the interesting thing is we found a total of about 20 keywords specific to your business segment, which is painting, painting contractor, painting contractors, residential painting, and the like. And of that 20, we did not find any keywords at all where you were in top positions. However, we did find 2 of the 20 where you did have a first page position, and the remaining 18, again, you had no ranking at all. So real quickly, just to show you what's what, for the main keyword painter, again, you were not found, and your competitors who were in the top positions were CertaPro and Protect Painters of Savannah. And then going down the list was Painter, again, same 2 competitors, CertaPro and Protect. Looking at residential painter, again, the same 2 competitors. So I think you're seeing a trend here. Professional painter, again, CertaPro and Protect. Commercial painter, same thing. However, when we go down the list, there's 2 keywords specifically that you guys have ranked for. One of them is painting contractors, where you rank number 7. Again, with CertaPro being number 1 and Miller Painting being number 2. And the other keyword being painting contractor, where you guys had ranked 6th, and again, CertaPro being the number 1 position and Miller being number 2. And the remaining keywords you weren't found at all. So that's kind of baselining where we currently are, and I'm going to get a little bit more detail about what those keywords mean and the impacts mean in a moment. The other piece of information I want to bring your attention to is this section right over here, which is the directory listings. What we have listed here are the top 7 directories that are the most impactful directories where you most certainly want to have a presence, you want to have your listing claimed, and also importantly, you want to have your listing optimized. Now, the number 1 most important one is Google, which you have not claimed your listing, nor have you claimed your Bing listing, but you did claim your Yahoo. Good job on that. The other one where you have claimed your listing is in Super Pages. However, the other 3 directories where you do not have a presence, where you have not claimed your listing is Insider Pages, Yelp, and City Search. Now, directories real simply are those places, in addition to the search engines of Google, Yahoo, and Bing, that people go to find your business. And so if you were to find and do a search, we're going to do in a moment, you'll not only see the links and businesses that are listed on the first page of Google, but you also find other listings as well to things like Yelp, Insider Pages, City Search, Super Pages, things like that, which are other directories that people do in fact go to learn about your business, where you're located, and the services you provide. Now, these here are the top 7 that we have shown, but there's over 100 of these directories which you do in fact want to be in. And we can certainly talk about that at a later date, but the most impactful, the most important right now are these top 7. So overall, a large majority of your prospective customer base who are actively looking for painting contractors, painters, residential painters, and all those keywords, unfortunately you are not being found. All right, they're more times than not finding your competitors. So with that being said, before I get too detailed, one of the things I try to do is to do a keyword analysis to look at what is the number of searches that are being performed on a monthly basis for a particular business segment. And that information kind of baselines for us whether it makes sense or not to even consider an online marketing program. So as you can imagine, if the number of searches being performed on a monthly basis are so low, it kind of helps make a decision as to whether or not it makes sense investing any money at all in an online marketing program. So let me share with you what I had found on a quick overview of some keyword research I've done for your business segment. What I have here, let me blow this up a little bit so you can see it a little better. There we go. All right, so Billy, here we go. As we said from the initial local ranking report, there's about 20 keywords that you can potentially rank for. And let me pull that up again. Here we go. And here's all those keywords. There's quite a few of them. But the reality is when you do the keyword research specific to the Savannah, Georgia area, these are the only keywords that got any search volume at all. And if you look at the very first position, which is painter, Savannah, Georgia, there's about 210 monthly searches. In interior painting, Savannah, Georgia, is 58 searches. Interior painting, Hinesville, Georgia, was another 58 for a total of 326. So the important thing in any online marketing program is to do the necessary keyword research to see, in fact, what keywords are actually being used. And I know many of us in the business that we're in could assume what keywords people would use and what they would search for. But the reality is to go to Google and actually look for what keywords are in fact being used. So I'm going to come back to this keyword research in a moment, but let's go back to the actual website. I'm sorry, the actual Google page itself. So right now, the keywords that you're ranking for, which you've had first page position, is painting contractors as well as painting contractor. So let's take a look at those keywords real quickly. All right, so here's painting contractors. All right, and painting contractors, you had a 7 position. Here you are right here. All right, and if we just take off the S for painting contractor, Savannah, Georgia, you actually bumped to a 6th position, which is right here. All right, pretty good. All right, but before we get too detailed, let me just overview this page, if you would. I'm not sure if you can see it on the video here, but this kind of pink highlighted area, this is what's called AdWords, pay-per-click. And if you're familiar with pay-per-click, as you know, businesses would bid for certain keywords to get ranked for those keywords. And should you win the bid, your ad will be posted, as you can see here with these 3 businesses. And typically with a pay-per-click campaign, AdWords campaign, Google will display 10 positions. The first 3 being right here, with the first being the most expensive, and then the second being the second, and the third. And then on the right-hand side of the page, right over here, you'll see the remaining 7. All right, and as you know, the way pay-per-click works is whenever your ad is clicked on, you are charged for that click. Whether they call your business, call your phone number, whether they visit your website, whether they do anything at all, you are charged for that click, whether it was intentional or not. So one of the things I hear from many of my new customers that have come on board, many have been very active in the pay-per-click side of online marketing, and they've been very disillusioned because when you are charged for a click, whether it was intentional or not, you can see the expense gets pretty hefty with very little return, if any, from realized sales. And just out of curiosity, let's take a look at what the keywords would cost in your business segment. All right, looking at Painter Savannah, we're looking at a cost per click of $485 for each and every click. Interior Painting Savannah, there's a cost of $9.88 per click. And oh wow, interestingly here, Interior Painting Hinesville, Georgia, the cost per click is 10 cents. That is a very, very affordable rate for pay-per-click campaign. So real simply, what Google is saying is of the 58 clicks that are performed on average in Hinesville, Georgia for interior painting, with the cost being 10 cents per, your overall cost for those clicks would be $5.80. So when you look at that type of investment, that certainly might be something we should consider getting you involved in because of the sheer affordability of that cost per click rate. But know this, typically the cost per click rate that Google offers is typically indicative of what's called conversions, where even though you may have clicks come through your site, very little action was taken. So that might be an indicator right there that although it's inexpensive, there's not a lot of buying intent from the people who click through. Now look at that Interior Painting Savannah, $9.88 and $4.85. So you can imagine $5 for every click or $10 for every click. It's pretty expensive should you be involved in a pay-per-click campaign when somebody clicking and clicking and clicking. So again, my experience is before you even consider a pay-per-click campaign, it's pretty important to get the foundation laid for a solid online marketing campaign using Google Places and standard organic Google search before you think about all the other more expensive and frankly less responsive online marketing programs like pay-per-click. So with all that being said, the area of the page that gets the most attention is right here, the area where the maps are and the area where the tags are. And I'm going to show you a heat map here in a little bit that kind of displays this from a very detailed study that was done about online marketing and what they call where the eyes go. And where it is, bottom line, it's right here in this segment. So what this is called right here is the Google 7 box, and Google will list the top 7 businesses that have the most relevant content specific to the search term that their customer, the individual searching for, that particular business is looking for. So in this case, we're looking at painting contractor, Savannah, Georgia, which yielded these 7 results right here. All right, with again you guys having the 6th position for this. Now, a couple of things I want to point out real quickly. Now, you got a first page position, that's great, but again, what matters most is not what we think the searches are going to use for keywords, but what are actually being used for keywords. So let's go back to the keywords real quickly, and you'll notice that nowhere was painting contractor used for a search term for somebody looking for a painting contractor, believe it or not, in Savannah or surrounding area. The terms that were most frequently used were the ones you see here, painter and interior painting. All right, those are the terms that we want to rank for. In addition to the others, because although Google doesn't show much search volume, you know they're being used, but they're being used very little. So the most important thing is to target those keywords that are getting the most volume and then work your way down from there to the least volume. So let's go back to Google and take a look at the search term painter in Savannah, Georgia. okay, because this is the most relevant one. Again, looking at the top keyword here, painter, Savannah, Georgia, that's the one we want to look at. So let's go see what kind of activity we're looking at here. Now, we know it's a very competitive niche. There's 2.2 million competing pages specific to that term on Google. And we don't see very many pay-per-click here. We only see one main ad, but not many others on the right-hand side, which is the reason why, again, it's only $4.85, so it might be another opportunity in the future, Billy, but right now, let's look at where we stand with the 7 box. So here's the main 7 box, okay? And here's the 7 businesses here, of which Lawson projects are not found. But let's look at the competition real quickly. All right, here the very first position, house painting, Savannah. I see a listing, although it says house painting in Savannah, the name of the business is CertaPro. So that's kind of a knockoff right there. And as I look at that page, as you can see, it's very sparse. There's not a lot of information on that page at all. So the interesting thing is they have not even claimed their listing. So not only have they not claimed it, they have not optimized it. So in a very positive side, although you're not found on the Google 7 box for the #1 keyword, the #1 position in this 7 box for the #1 keyword, company called CertaPro, as you see here, they haven't optimized their listing. So what does that mean? Big opportunity for you and I to get you in that position. Moving down to the second position, Protect Painters. They put some photos on the page, but again, it has not been optimized. Again, another opportunity for you and I to get you in these top positions. Position 3, Miller. They've done a slightly better job again, but it has not been optimized. Herald Brothers in the 4th position. So far, the better of them all, but again, has not been fully optimized. Elkins Painting, same thing. Minimally optimized. Brothers and Sisters, same thing, very basic, have not been optimized. In the 7th position, Rhino Shield, slightly better job, but again, has not been fully optimized. So on the negative side, Billy, you're not found at all in the Google 7 box for the #1 keyword that people are typing in looking for contractors in the Savannah area. I'm sorry, looking for a painter in Savannah. However, looking at your competition, it's a very high probability that we can get you in these top spots very quickly. All right. So I'm going to kind of save you the same analysis with these other pages as well. I think we also looked at, I tried to find your website real quickly, and I see that you more than likely do not have one, because what you see here is what Google has put together for you on your behalf. And gave you a shell of your own Google Plus page based on where the information has found you in some of these other areas like Savannah City Search, Angie's List, and Yellow Pages. And based on that information, they put together your Google Plus page. So let me go back to the local ranking report real quickly. You know, as we know here, you have not claimed your Google page. However, there is a Google Plus page available. So what we're going to want to do is to build upon this, complete the information needed on your Google Plus page, and then optimize it to really start gaining some traction. All right, so again, just a quick overview of where you are, who your competition is, what the main keywords are, and some of the things we need to start focusing on. So the question before I get details about our program that I want to ask you, Billy, is this. 210, 58, 58, you're looking at 300 plus searches each and every month. And I think it's pretty clear that getting Lawson projects involved in an online marketing program would certainly make sense in pursuing. And the only question to you, more of a rhetorical question, is, how many of those monthly searches would you really need to get each and every month to share what it is Lawson Projects is all about and the services you provide to really have a tremendous financial impact on your business in 2013. All right, so let me get more detail about the our programs and what we do and how we can help you. All right, this is the slide I mentioned earlier about the heat map and the studies that were done. So if you were to look at the this map here, you'll see the brighter areas are where the analysis has been performed, showing where people's eyes go and where on the page the clicks are most frequent. Now, we mentioned about the ads that are up top here and the organic listings. You can see it's pretty light. Even the listings on the right-hand side for pay-per-click are extremely light. But right in the map section, that's where the bulk of the activity goes. As a matter of fact, as you can see in this red box right here, the top 3 positions in the Google Places page 7 box gets more than 50% of all the business. That's where we want to get you. That's where you want to be. All right, so this next slide here is just a quick overview of the type of volume that's possible. Again, this is just one of our customers. We have some customers that are getting a heck of a lot more than this, believe it or not, and we have some customers getting less. But this is probably the norm for what we do for our customers. And in your case, is over 200 plus searches each month just in those 3 core keywords. So imagine the impact that would have in your business if you were getting a dozen or so calls each and every week with people asking you about your services, wanting you to come out and provide a quote. All right, but these are the type of analytics that we provide. So the positive side of this is you not only know, in fact, that our programs are working, but we also know what components of our campaign that we're working for you on your behalf are working, but also gives us enough quantifiable information to know what we need to change, what we need to tweak, again, to maximize these calls coming in. Because at the end of the day, any marketing program that you're investing in, the goal is to get more customers, and that's what we're here to do. All right, so let me get more detail about the eSearch Local program. As you probably remember from the email, Billy, we are the only performance-based SEO company. Now, what does that mean? Bottom line, you don't pay if you don't rank. Our job is to get you ranked in those top positions. Why? That's where all the activity is. That's where the searches are done. That's where people click. So most SEO companies out there charge big upfront fees and large monthly fees in the hopes that you're going to get the business. So many businesses have to kind of go out on a limb and spend all this money up front in the hopes that they're going to get enough calls and enough business to allow the investment they've made to make financial sense. Our program is the only program, and we are the only company that has skin in the game. We put our money where our mouth is. So you don't pay anything until we get you ranked. So again, it truly is a win-win situation. So again, we're performance-based, which means you don't pay if you don't rank. And as you also saw from the email, that we are doing away with the upfront setup fees for those businesses that get involved through the end of the year. We've already talked about that, but because of the delay, we are in fact extending this through the close of business on Friday. So we are waiving that upfront setup fee on your behalf should you get started. And bottom line, Billy, it truly is a strategic partnership in that we're in this together. We've got skin in the game. We don't make any money unless we do our job, which means we provide you with opportunities to make money, and you're in fact making money. So it really is a win-win. So let's get more detail about what you get with our program. The first thing is you get a fully optimized Google Plus local listing. You've already got your foundation that Google has laid out for you. We will go in and claim your listing. We will go in and optimize your listing. Now, what does that mean? We'll do much more detailed keyword analysis that you've seen here, okay? But we'll get much more detail about specifically the surrounding cities, what keywords are being searched for in those cities, how far out you want to go within that area. Then in addition to that, we want to look much more detail in your competition. What keywords are they ranking for compared to the keywords that we want to rank you for? Then we look at the things that they're doing well and the things they're not doing very well, so we can find our angle on how we can get you ahead of them. And then the last analysis we do is a category analysis. This is a very important area that most businesses miss, in that the whole goal of getting a first page position is, bottom line, to give Google what they want. And they want to see relevant content, so when when their customer, who is the individual doing the searching, types in a keyword term, that Google provides them the most relevant content, the most relevant information in what they're looking for. And bottom line, I don't know if you recall years ago when when search engines started getting pretty big, we're talking a couple of decades, where I recall, man, doing searches for looking for a pizza place, and you get ads on the page for a nail salon. I mean, it was crazy. Where Google's main focus right now, which is why they're number one, is they pride themselves in having the algorithms to provide the searcher with the most relevant information specific to their search terms, and it's all tied around the categories. And we spent a lot of time analyzing where you need to be, what makes the most sense, what's the competition doing to choose the correct categories. All right, the third piece is this. In order to track all this, we need to assign you a personalized tracking phone number. So when someone goes to the internet and finds you from one of our campaigns, all right, they're going to dial this phone number, and now this phone number is going to be forwarded to whatever number you designate, which could be your cell phone, your office line, whatever you choose. But that allows us to track which of our campaigns are working. All right, and again, that's a very important part of our program. The next piece is we're going to optimize those 7 business directories that you saw on this main page. Let me go back to it real quickly. All right. Again, as I shared with you, there's over 100 of these directories. All right. And but the top 7 are right here. So we want to make sure that you're not only listed, but all your listings are optimized in those top 7. All right. And that is included in our program as well. Then we need to take and find 10 photographs. You've heard the phrase that a picture paints 1,000 words. Well, we want to find 10 photographs that depict exactly what you do and how you do it. And preferably photographs that are from projects that you've currently worked on. But if not, that's okay. We can find some others that will give us what it is we need. And then once we find those photographs that really depict, what it is that Lawson Projects is all about and the services you offer, then we want to optimize those photographs. There's a number of things we do on the back end, but specifically we embed within those photographs the necessary keywords, and then we geo-target those keywords to really give Google everything they're looking for and maximize those photos on your Google Plus site. The next thing we do is we create 5 customized and optimized videos specific to Lawson Projects. And much like the photos, we optimize them by embedding the necessary keywords, and we geo-target them as well. But there's one additional thing we do with the videos is those 5 videos are targeted around each of the 5 main and core categories that we will have listed in your Google Plus local listing. All right. And then the last piece of information, Billy, which is the most important piece, is exclusivity. Now, what do we mean by that? We will only work with one business type in a specific geographic area. All right. So should we decide to work together, we will not work with any other painting contractor in the Savannah area. All right, so let's get detailed about the investment specifics. Let me say overview of the investment specifics. There's 3 components. The first component is this. We the first of every month we pull a report, and in this report we look at the ranked keywords. And depending on the keywords that are ranked will depend what your monthly investment is. And only at that point, when we've met our agreement with you about what keywords are ranked, then we charge your credit card on file, and only then. And then the next month turns around, the first of the month, we pull another report, and then it goes forward like that. But again, I want to be very clear about this. As a performance-based SEO organization, if we don't rank you according to the keywords in the areas that we've agreed to, it costs you nothing. All right? All right, so moving on, let's get more detail. So what makes up the monthly investment amount that you would pay should all the criteria be met? Well, the very first thing is how competitive your business niche is. Now, the painting business is fairly competitive, so that's certainly the first consideration. The second consideration are the keyword requirements. how many keywords are we looking for that you are considering targeting for, that we're going to be having our team work in the back end getting you ranked for. And then bottom line is the areas you want to target. So those are the 3 areas. So based on those 3 things, I have a pretty good idea of where I believe your monthly investment would be based on the analysis that I've done. But what we're going to need to do is have a conversation, and during this conversation, once we lock in on exactly the keyword requirements and the areas targeted, then we can have a conversation, get very detailed about what your investment would be. So the next step for you, Billy, is this. Call my cell phone directly at 678-642-2747. Let's have this conversation. Let's talk about the details of what it is we'd like to accomplish, and then from that information we can talk about a specific monthly investment that would be required. And again, I want to be very clear that monthly investment is only charged once the requirements are met that we've agreed to. All right, and then and bottom line, Billy, it's just a question of how quickly we want to get started. So take a look at this video, watch it a few times if need be. The keyword analysis you'll find just below this video on the same page if you want to look at those keywords once again. But when you're ready to talk, give me a call again on my cell phone, 678-642-2747. Let's have a conversation, and let's talk about how together we can make 2013 the very best year in business you've ever had. Okay, Billy, I look forward to your call.